Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. Last time, we completed Sigurd's paralogue and defeated the, essentially, super bosses in there. This time, I'm not going to make a quick stop over at the smithy because there's a few refines that I want to do. The first is that we're going to be fighting a lot of wolf knights in the main story from now on, so I might as well get this higher Rider's Bane refine out of the way. I think I will need that later. And then, yeah, I can buff up the Javelin Lapis uses. Oh, that's a really nice thing to cook. It's got a pretty good bonus and doesn't give any speed, but still. And I have all the ingredients.
Delicious. Surely.
Yeah, I could.
Okay, got support unlocked between both of them. They're, I think, some of the few people in my main army that Aaliyah doesn't have a B support with yet. Also, I'm sure she was very disappointed at only making an ordinary meal, but it's kind of a thing with, oftentimes in JRPGs that have cooking systems, usually it's the rich people who are bad at cooking, which makes sense. They're probably used to having people cook for them. So, we're going to be going to the Binding Grounds this time. It's got a much higher recommended level, but I think we can handle it given what we took on last time. So, let's go! The Young Lion. Was that title ever mentioned in his own game, apart from the epilogue?
Where are we? I don't recognize it.
It looks like... No, it couldn't be.
Roy, do you know this place?
I may be seeing what I want to see instead of what's truly there. But it's very similar to a place where I once fought an important battle.
Oh boy, an important battle is right. That was the obligatory big battle chapter of his game. It was like the equivalent of this game's chapter 17.
Oh. Do you mean in the world you're from? Could you tell me about it?
I stood there, my allies at my side, facing down the armies of the Kingdom of Bern. The enemy's commander was Murdoch, who was especially strong, tactically and physically.
And by physically, Roy means that he had literally capped Con, or build as it's called in this game. Yeah, they actually gave Murdoch capped out build, which is funny.
His battle axe. The power and weight of its blows are etched forever in my memory.
As is the fact that for some reason the Tomahawk was enemy only in Binding Blade.
It was a battle so grueling, I can hardly believe that I or anyone else managed to survive.
Okay, so canonically, you didn't get through that battle with everyone but Roy dead. Good to know.
But bitter as it was, I hold fond memories of that day as well.
It must be an important point in time for you.
Yes, you could say that. I admit I feel a bit energized standing here.
Yes, it was indeed an important point in time, for it was the last battle that Roy had to spend unpromoted. And it was like, what, like chapter 20, I think? Yeah, Roy's late promotion is a meme for a good reason.
Would you grant me an odd request? Battle me here, in this place.
Battle you? But why?
This place is from my memory, but I believe it is a trial meant for you. Achieve a glorious victory against me, and our bond will grow deeper still.
And that means we get access to better versions of Holdout, and I'll take that.
My power will grow, and yours will too. Are you interested?
As well as the Binding Blade, which I jumped the gun on in the last chapter.
All right. I'll fight you. And I'll win.
We're able to choose our full team of 12 once more. But in terms of the map itself, this map is based on the battle against Murdoch in Binding Blade. And so it's a pretty faithful recreation. These mountains look a little bit squashed, though, admittedly. But there's a lot of mountains and a lot of wyvern knights. That's the theme of this chapter. Lots and lots of wyverns. They all have air raid, so if they attack you over mountains and you are not a flyer yourself, they'll have +5 speed. So these ones are all axe wyverns. This group is a group of lance wyverns, and I don't think there are any sword wyverns in this map. Also, there are some reinforcements. One wave of reinforcements gets triggered if this sage below Roy gets aggroed. Another wave gets triggered apparently once you aggro these two snipers. Not really sure why, but yeah, it triggers another wave. And there's another wave of reinforcement that appears on turn 3, a final wave of reinforcements that never appears on any difficulty. I don't know if it's a bug or an oversight or what, but apparently it doesn't. And, where was the secret shop in the original game? There was like a tile in the middle of these mountains that was where the secret shop was, because that's a thicket, whereas these are like, you know, wait a minute, wasn't it the reverse in the original game, GBA games? Thickets were impassable and forests were the ones that gave you evasion? It's actually weird, but yeah. I think it would have been like here or something. I mostly know it because I'll talk about the infamy of that secret shop later, because firstly, yeah, let's just get the gameplay out of the way here. We have Roy, and he has the Grey Dull Binding Blade, which has 1 to 2 range, and he's very strong. And also, speaking of very strong, yeah, Roy is pretty tough. He's getting a boost to his level from Rise Above, but he also has Holdout +++. Yep. If he has any more than 1 HP, he can't die, which means it always takes at least 2 characters to finish off one of his health bars. And he has 3 health bars, 4 health bars on Maddening. That build is way too high for Roy, in my opinion. I'll have to look up what he had in the original. I want to say it was like 5. Also, yeah, there is a fabrication worm here to reference the Manakete that would have been there in the original. And this isn't even a visitable village. But okay. Obviously, archers are going to be very helpful in this map, so I think I'm going to send, Amber can probably hold down the bottom front on his own, and I think I'll go with Alchrist and Anna in the northern fronts, and then, yeah, I might be able to use Lapis to take out some of the initial enemies. She's got okay resistance, she might be able to deal with those magic users, but I think, I mean, they do have Bolganone, though, 39 attack power. Although her resistance is pretty solid, so of course I could always bait them with Clan or Jean. Speaking of which, though, I may actually need Jean to take a Wind Tome. I don't know if this is going to do me much good, but I would sort of like... I mean, that's not kind of redundant with Elsurge and Bolganone, so yeah, Elwind. Its power's pretty bad, but with that, I think I will be able to... maybe try and snipe some of these wyverns with Byleth. And since the enemies are capable of flying all over the place, it's a little hard to know exactly where the most intense fighting, and therefore Bondage Shield, will be needed. In fact, since Lou will be broken if he goes up there, I probably should actually use Lapis, especially since he's got the A support with Alchrist, and have Louis go down lower. Okay, I think that's about... yeah, that looks about right. I still have a save from Serenity and Ruin, wow. And let's do this.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you approach this battle.
And I'm looking forward to seeing all these wyverns fall, and also the music. The music here is pretty great.
Anytime.
It's a bit of a more subdued take on this song. But it's Beneath a New Light, which is also Roy's de facto theme. It's very much like Eternal Bond in Radiant Dawn. It was just a regular map theme, but it's essentially become Roy's theme at this point. Like, that's yeah, generally how it's considered. Like, every, map theme in Binding Blade was always named, like, Roy's something. This one is Roy's Hope.
Let's go.
The first one, I think, it's kind of funny because, the first map theme in Japanese in Binding Blade is called Beyond the Sky, which is also the name of the ending theme of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which is interesting. I think it's called Beyond Distant Skies in the Smash Bros. Remix, but that one is Roy's Journey, I think? I forget what, the Western Isles theme is called, because that was one of the few map themes I actually liked in Binding Blade. So, yeah, so sorry, but I've definitely come around in my opinion on Binding Blade recently, but I still don't like Binding Blade's soundtrack. I think the songs themselves, like, the actual songs are good, it's just the instrumentation makes them sound awful. They definitely learned a lot by the time of Sacred Stones in making the most out of the Game Boy Advance's sound chip, because, just seriously, the music quality between Sacred Stones and Binding Blade is absolutely staggering. I don't know if I'm like one of the... because I don't hear a lot of people who feel the same way as me, but like, I utterly despise Binding Blade's soundtrack. It's kind of like, some people, for example, you know,
was
can't
a
get into
cinch.
Engage because of its story. Well, one of the things that actually puts me off Binding Blade is its soundtrack. I just think the map themes just sound so, for lack of a better word, god-awful. And again, they're good songs when they're given a proper remix. That's one of the reasons I'd like there to be a remake of Binding Blade, because I'd love to hear these songs with proper instrumentation.
Is that the sound of huge wings? It sounds like wyverns. They might be reinforcements for Roy's troops. I should advance with caution.
Yeah, thankfully they warn you about the reinforcements this time. I don't think they really did in Binding Blade, because this map had a lot of reinforcements in Binding Blade. Oh, I can't even double you guys. Although, if anything, I got rid of Ivy's free stuff to the convoy, didn't I? So Micaiah freeze on all of you might be nice. However, let's see how many of them I can take out with my Brave Arrow squad. Yeah, this is why I put that plus accuracy refine on Anna. Because you really wanted to be hitting against enemy wyverns, or flyers in general. Speaking of Neki killing, will you actually... Nope. Yeah, I haven't even counted the number of times she's triggered that skill so far, but I don't think it's very much. Well, I suppose Lapis could... Because that's a break, so I take you down at no risk to myself.
From me to you.
Break's still kind of useful this late in. Like, I used to feel that Break was only, like, particularly good early in the game, but it's still putting in work even now. I almost wonder whether it's worth it to actually Astra Storm one of them. Because where can Seedol... Okay, well that's a possibility. A distinct possibility. Yeah, see, I one-round you even without Elwind. In fact, I think I'm only barely doing... Yeah, I only do like 3 more damage with Elwind. So, I just feel like for some reason Elwind... That's a cool pose from Shaw, by the way, with the casting. But I just feel like Elwind is not super useful in this game. Because most of the things, like, if you are... Like, flyers are a lot better to one-round with bows, and, just even other magic just does better against flyers overall. It's just kind of a weird thing. I think it's just because of, like... It's similar to, like, how wind worked in Path of Radiance. Oh, no. Let's actually compare it to this. Thunder and Radiant Dawn. So, Thunder and Radiant Dawn was meant to have the niche of effectiveness against dragons and wyverns, but because Thunder was so weak to compensate for it having high crit rates, Triple Might would just not really be all that much with Thunder. Okay, I'm doing slightly more with the Radiant Bow. Have I even ever used this Radiant Bow? I don't know if I have. But I guess I can show it. So yeah, like, it just, Thunder was not, and it's kind of similar to Wind here. It's just like, who cares about the triple might when your actual might is so bad? It's why the Radiant Bow is so good, because it has such high might, so when it's tripled, it makes a huge difference. Yeah, I mean, Alpris gains build quite a lot, but to be honest, he doesn't really need it. Most bows aren't that heavy. It's not like, you know, I was about to say Alfred, but at the same time, Alfred actually does have tragic in-universe reasons why his build is low. Ah, well, thanks to that, I think Ivy should be able to finish you. Nope, let's not do that. Because they do have archers of their own to deal with that. Oh, and now you're doubling. Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose maybe will Speed Taker help here? Let's see. Okay, gaining a point of speed is good. On top of an extra Speed Taker. Yeah, it's a good thing the minimum standard of royalty isn't Ryoma, because then all royalty would be in trouble. Very few can live up to that. Okay, can't quite lure anything else yet, though. Oh, wait a minute, I have Yunaka. Let's just using a regular old heal staff with a Leer. I do feel like, I've kind of needed healing a little more often than I usually do, like, this late in, I guess. I often find that with, like, Fate's Conquest, the gameplay of that is just so, like, fast-paced. I sometimes can afford to run no staff users on my main party. Not really the case here, because, like, good staffs are quite powerful, but Okay, I don't think that's a good idea to lure you in with Yunaka, because I think both of them hitting will equal Yunaka dies. Yeah, it would be 22, so both of them hitting would kill her. And they have really high accuracy, yeah, I'm not gonna bank on them missing. So on turn 3, there'll be... I believe that is turn 3's reinforcements wave. There we go. So they'll be coming at us from below. So right now, I don't actually think I want to lure any of you just yet, because I want to wait and deal with these for... I feel bad to have, like, Amber soak up all the experience, though. Like, I was thinking of running in with Aaliyah and doing, like, an Amber, Chain Guard extravaganza. See, if anything, I'd rather Amber lure the enemies here, because he'd then, like, Great Ether most of them to death, and... Yeah, you know what? I think... okay. I mean, who am I kidding? He's Amber. I'm sure he's gonna survive. I hope those aren't famous last words, but we'll see. Because if I go Great Ether, and then... Like, do I get double with the Silver Great Axe by any of you? Oh boy, do I get double by the snipers. I don't get double by the generals, though. And none of you are, like, chain attackers. So, okay, like, everyone else will stay away from Amber. And focus on those wyverns. Maybe I actually can go for some Aaliyah bonded shielding.
Emblem, engage!
Let's see. See, part of me is worried that I'm getting a little bit too, too overconfident with my, like, that I'm kind of just rushing in too much here, but the other part of me is worried that I'm getting too over-leveled. If I don't want to burn Erica's engage now. Oh, I can equip this and not get broken. So let's do that. And because I won't be... Oh, wait. Yeah, so if I switch over to Ephraim, I'll get the +5 damage on the enemy phase. Because Erica's damage won't help in the enemy phase, because you need to initiate combat for that. You know, I want them all... Do I want them all to attack Amber? Do I want, like, one of them to attack Yunaka? Because if she's being bonded shielded by Aaliyah, she's gonna... And she just barely doubles those snipers too, so... I think I'm probably good to do that. And now we have... Okay, the wyverns are not upon us just yet. Yeah, I wonder if I can do this. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, you have no ring at all, because Roy got de-equipped from you. Yeah, that's again a case of me being a little too hasty.
Hey, thanks.
But, like, Engage can be quite fun when it's played in a fast-paced way. And I don't mean, like, in a full-on low turn count way, but, I'm just more just, I don't know, I'm just kind of self-conscious that I'm being a little bit too risky with my plays here, and I'm sort of rushing through these maps too much, but,
I'm prepared.
I'm still having a lot of fun here. So, okay, moment of truth here. Hello? Oh. Actually, that's not great. It's even a +1 javelin, too, and it wasn't enough to one round. I was kind of banking on that one rounding. Okay, so... Oh, that's not good. He might be able to take this. Especially now the other sniper went for Yunaka.
I'll protect you.
Speaking not one rounding, though. Yunaka's not one rounding. Yeah, I mean, the enemies here are definitely a step above what we fought in Sigurd's Paralog, so it does kind of make sense that I'm not one rounding. I did check Yunaka's Wolf Knight in the Somniel, and she would have more strength, so that might be an option for me to go for later. Okay, now General number 2. Haven't quite provoked the other snipers yet, which are apparently the ones who are tied to the reinforcements. And that should be Bonded Shield. Yeah, I do really like this whole Bonded Shield, like, Aaliyah thing. If you have a more flyer or cavalry-heavy army, you can put Bonded Shield on a flyer. It can be nice if you're using, like, a lot of Mage Knights. I've probably mentioned this before, but, like, putting Bonded Shield on, like, Lucina on a Wolf Knight is good, because you can Bonded Shield your cavalry and also get chain attacks with, daggers for poison. Oh, here they come. That's...
I won't let anyone die.
Maybe a bit too much to handle in the north, we'll see. I mean, there's Goddess Dance. I don't like burning it there, though. I mean, I have Emblem energy, though. Yeah, the good thing about Great Ether is that it always hits, so you don't need to worry about that sniper going in terrain. Because otherwise, yeah, he would have got the covert bonuses there. So, let's see. Is there a way that I can get a good run going with... Okay, you know what's sort of silly? Mini bow. Yeah.
I need to get stronger.
Yeah, that kind of a weak death cry is appropriate for someone who just got killed by mini bow. Oh, wow, you one round even with the longbow. That's nice. Of course, you have to hit both of these.
Thank you.
But yeah, who says Anna's strength is... Well, I mean, you know, everyone says Anna's strength is bad. It's objectively not very good, but... it's right now, it's kind of fine for my tastes, and because you no longer have Roy, you can't one-shot those sages. Okay, she does have Canter, though, so if I do that... And Canter on a flyer is really nice, because it means that, you're not really slowed by terrain. So I know I'll be able to canter away 2 spaces for doing this. Okay, now you have +5 speed when attacking from terrain the enemy can't attack from. So yeah, you can zip up there, and then... How about I... dance for Ulchrist? I did use Astral Storm already. Was just thinking of that, and I'm glad I got that right, because now you can stand where you are and not kill this sage with a longbow. That's unfortunate. I probably should have danced for... Oh, didn't even get Luna. Probably should have danced for Lapis, because she definitely would have been able to kill that sage, but oh well. That's just the way things go. I should still be able...
Help me, Emblem.
...to finish everything here with a Goddess Dance. Yeah, I just like all of the different plays you can do with a combination of, like, dancing and Goddess Dance and that. It just reminds me... I was, recently watching the, okay, I believe the Pokemon YouTube channel should have, like, the VOD of this up, but the finals of the Barcelona, special event, let's just say that the trading card game finals were amazing. The one who won pulled off this absolutely insane combo that is basically the equivalent of, like, doing a super Goddess Dance chain in this game, and it's just... It was incredible to watch. So, like, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time I was watching that. It was one of the most thrilling, competition, like, pieces of, like, competitive media I've ever seen. It was just... Like...
We'll protect everyone.
Oh, nice one.
A good wind.
Anyway, I won't spoil what happened, but it's incredible. And I do love when people in, like, can actually pull that off in a trading card game. Although, there will be another batch of reinforcements that triggers when I lure in these 2 snipers. And obviously, I do not want to lure the snipers with Lapis, who is now a... Like, Wyvern Lapis has been doing pretty well, although admittedly, admittedly, anyone as a Wyvern is still quite... Because, like, it's not quite as, like... I feel like Engage's meta is not, like, as insanely Wyvern-heavy as Three Houses was, but I still have seen a lot of people go for a lot of Wyverns in Engage. It's just, like, Wyvern is an interesting class. I mentioned this back when I was playing Advance Wars, but in case you didn't watch that, I feel like the Wyvern, class is balanced by, like, usually in most Fire Emblem games that have Wyvern Riders, it's balanced by rarity. Generally speaking, you only get, like, 1 or 2 Wyvern Riders per game, and you don't get them until very late. Whereas in games with reclassing, you can kind of use as many Wyverns as you want, and that does get a little excessive sometimes, especially in... I mean, I do think, though, Three Houses had a real problem with it, because there you can just be like, oh, hi, I'm just gonna, I could really use the light brand on Leaf now, actually, but I don't really think that's gonna, be that great. Do you seriously not one round even with Fenzilier? The Tamara problem, ladies and gentlemen. At least I have a Great Lance, and I got Sandstorm.
Okay, who's next?
But not needing Sandstorm is always preferable to needing it. Oh, why am I worried about defeating this general? I just have Ivy, so Ivy can just whack you. See, in my first playthrough, I never really had that much of a problem with Ivy's speed. Then again, I was playing on hard mode, well, like I am here, but, the thing was that, like, I usually had, like, most of the enemies that I had her fighting were things like generals and, like, very low resistance warriors. Like, enemies where it doesn't actually matter, like, where she always had enough speed to one-round them, because they were just really slow, so she was going to be doubling them anyway.
Did you see that?
But it is still nice to have a flyer who can one-round actually fast enemies, so I do get the appeal of using Lyn with, That's not a one-round, is it? Nope. I do get the appeal of using Lyn on Ivy. I just personally really like having long-range Astral Storm. Okay. So I do 15 times 2. Now, if I were to switch to Erica, I do more. Yeah, normally Erica, like Erica's Lunar Brace, will make you deal more damage than Ephraim's Solar Brace. There's not a ton of cases where, the straight boost to damage will be doing more than ignoring defense, but since Ephraim works on magic and Erica is restricted to just physical attacks, there are still some advantages to Ephraim. And of course, Ephraim's +5 damage also applies to the enemy phase, whereas you have to initiate combat to get Lunar Brace. So again, like there are pros and cons to both. But yeah, I think the main issue that I have with Three Houses Wyvern Riders is that, like, you can just dismount, and it's not like Fire Emblem 3 dismounting. Like, you can just fly somewhere and dismount, and it doesn't even really cost your turn, and you can still, like, do stuff. There wasn't really a penalty to dismounting, so you could effectively just get rid of your arrow weakness whenever you wanted, which was pretty dumb for a Wyvern. Yep, okay, that's the trigger. Hi there. Hi there! Okay, that's a lot. That's the group of reinforcements that they were probably trying to warn, that Aaliyah was trying to warn us about. Yes, I in fact need Lapis to get in here. What's going to attack me from there? With a spear though, so I can't use the Wormslayer if I do that. Oh, I can't use the Wormslayer at all, actually, because, well, I mean, I can, I get counterattacked if I use the Wormslayer. I kind of wonder if... Yeah, let's do this, maybe?
I hope this is enough.
Yes!
I need to get stronger until no one can beat me.
Well, I think you're plenty strong enough as is. Yeah, my worry here is with Lapis. I don't want her to be attacked by the sniper. Can anything get Anna from here? Nope, okay. And goodbye.
Thanks for the business.
Also, there was fortified defense in play there, but it didn't really matter. If I get rid of the sniper, though, how vulnerable is Lapis to you guys? Actually, very! Okay. Well, I can't... Okay, that's hilarious. It's just, like, I know it would be probably objectively better to make Bern a Mage Knight, and I'm kind of wondering if maybe I do that once we get Celica back.
Should I have held back?
But I do think that Byleth, like, with Thyrsus, is really fun sometimes, and this is definitely one of those times. It's just so cool to be able to just yoink enemies from that far away. Like, just go, hi there! For example, yeah, I can just yoink that general. Oh, but you're going to attack Seedol, so I probably do need to just be here. I mean, I can just use Elwind here just for good measure, because I want to make Elwind feel better about itself.
Stay focused.
Maybe it's okay against flyers when it's forged, but I still don't know. Okay, so we've got a few things that can attack Alcrus, but he is in terrain. Hang on. Hang on. Does Anna get attacked by the sniper and the general if I do this? No, not the general. Definitely not the general. How much crit do you have? 16, and she has... Like, Anna's luck is not as good as you might think. It's 18, so she doesn't get crit, so... Oh, and thankfully she's just barely off of being, being doubled. Although, you know, probably for the best if Amber just explodes one of you. Are we going to get a... Well, actually, the 69 crit was a crit for 69 damage, not a 69 that was a crit, so I can't quite call that a 69 crit, but okay.
Emblem.
What happens if I... quadruple hit's not quite going to be enough. Okay, well, firstly, we know that Clan can one-round one of you, at least. Yeah, this is kind of... It's not quite the true Binding Blade experience in this map, where there's just Wyvern reinforcements everywhere. Those ones are also proximity triggered, so if you cross certain lines on the map, then it spawns them. I do remember, though, that I was doing an Iron Man of Fire Emblem 6, like my first ever Iron Man of a game that I considered to be very, very difficult, and I don't want to spoil how it went, but it did go decently well. But except on this map, I had Rai, one of my magic users, get killed by
Time to finish the job.
a Wyvern, and I do believe it was an ambush spawning Wyvern. Because, yeah, that's one of my main issues with Binding Blade. Like, I do think its gameplay, like, I like its gameplay a lot more than I used to, but I will admit, ambush spawning reinforcements have not aged well as a concept, and I would very much like to see the game remade with them gone. I often play Binding Blade via ROM hacks that remove them. Like, even ROM hacks that make Binding Blade more difficult typically remove ambush spawning reinforcements. Like, they're that disliked. It's just, well, for those who don't know what ambush spawning reinforcements are, they're reinforcements that can move the turn they appear. They're generally considered not a fair mechanic because, like, they'll punish you if you don't know that they're there. And so, can I? Nope, clearly I cannot double you. But Ivy can get out of there at least. 26 speed versus... Oh, she can double them. No, let's not lure that worm, though. Okay, Anna, don't die, please. Oh, no, she's fine. Being a warrior gives her, like, her actual base HP as a fighter is surprisingly pretty good. As she says, she's pretty tough, you know. And you are attacking me... Well, I mean, that's actually pretty smart. I hit anyway, but still. Because, you know, you've got that terrain bonus, so yeah, I would have probably done that if I were you. And speaking of that covert terrain bonus, I do appreciate that. Alright. I think I've actually... No, wait, no, there's one more wave of reinforcements once you aggro that, the mage near Roy. No, not that. Armor Slayer. Bern may be a kingdom that really likes dragons, but, obviously, you generals are not, like, actually dragons. But let's just go and, yeah, see, Elwyn can't even one round. Okay, that's actually pretty funny, though. Again, I love Thyrsus. Honestly, I get more use out of Thyrsus in Engage than I do in actual Three Houses.
Should I have held back?
Like, it's fun in Three Houses, but, like, apart from killing the Death Knight, I find that, like, Lysithia's speed is not really that great. I mean, she can, like, she's kind of like, honestly, Lysithia's kind of like Magic Amber, in that, like, raw power is so good, she doesn't even need to double most of the time. But I don't know why, but for some reason I don't really remember needing to use Thyrsus all that much.
Thank you.
It's still really funny how Thyrsus is, like, officially meant to be Lawrence's Hero's Relic, but it's more, like it's just, everybody gives it to Lysithia. Because it's just, who wouldn't give it to Lysithia? Just, who wouldn't want, like, a super, like, being able to do what Jean's doing here and just sniping things? It's just, the problem is the fact that they're Lance Wyverns, which means they get broken if I use the Worm Slayer. Okay, who wants to take this? I suppose Louis can take this. Haven't needed to engage with Louis yet. Oh, wait. Yeah, your accuracy is like nothing because of that covert terrain bonus. I do have, like, hit plus. Also, okay. Okay, that's actually pretty reasonable. Thank you, engravings.
Leave it to me!
I do, honestly, I really... and of course I miss anyway. I was stacking things as far in my favor as I could, and I still missed. But at least that wasn't like, you know, when my life depended on it or anything like that. Okay. Wow, yeah, that is still really... I really don't want to have to burn an engage attack. I do have this, which is still only 44%. But I can try. It'd be really funny if this hits and the Stephanie misses. Well, I mean, that's on brand, at least. That is my best hit rate. Come on, come on, come on. I can hit a low percent. Nope. Right. I mean, he's not a threat to anyone in that area. It's just annoying. I mean... Actually, no, that's pretty good, because if either of those chain attacks hit, he dies.
I'll help! Sorry for the trouble.
Yeah, sometimes, as I've said before, Thunder can be quite good just for getting chain attacks. With that, maybe... one more turn left of Bondage Shields. Oh, I can't get any further, though. I was really hoping that I'd be able to just charge right in and just Bondage Shield spam and, like, take all of them out at once with Clan. That would have been really cool. But no. Yeah, since kind of everybody has, like, something to do on this map, I feel like, I've been surprisingly... How much is your 30? Okay. Yeah, I can afford to send Jean in then. But I feel like I've been, like, just often, yeah, ending my turns with... Or, you know, I could do that. So that's gonna probably give my... Yeah, it gives my speed quite a bit. Because I believe I actually do get to counter you. Because even though I do that, I've got up to 4 range, which is enough to counter the fireball, I think. But yeah, I feel like I've been able to, like, auto-end my turns, as in, like, end a turn via everybody taking an action, quite a lot in this map, just because of how much just everyone has something to do here, because there's a lot of fronts we're fighting on, and there's... Well, I mean, right now it's a bit less exciting, because most of the initial enemies are gone, but, well, why not? Take that back. Because Roy himself is a little dangerous. Well, not a little dangerous, he's quite dangerous. Now, provoking that worm might end up provoking all of these guys. What is your hit rate on Clan? I'm guessing it's something quite high. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. He's going to go the way of Rai in, my... Okay, but if I try and, like, lure two of them, and Aaliyah uses his regular chain guard... See, again, yeah, I've auto-ended my turn. What was that? I don't know why the camera just suddenly did that. Oh, that would have been so cool if that was actually a one-round counter. Was that like just some kind of fancy thing to say that the enemies were aggroed? Okay, Miss doesn't consume the chain guard, that's good.
The strength of the steward.
So with 2 of them down, hopefully, I should be able to deal with the others.
Stay back.
Okay, there's the chain guard expended, and that means I actually can take damage.
Did you see that?
Which means no chain gunning with Clan, but Clan will be able to rush in and finish off, unless the others fly towards... Nope, they're doing that, okay. Okay, yep, that's provoking everything, right. So... And I no longer have Goddess Dance. Is there some way that everybody here can beat 1 enemy each? I kind of doubt it, but we can maybe try. In fact, how about Lapis... Oh, this would be so cool if I could actually pull it off. So, okay, Lapis can deal with one of you without a risk of a counterattack.
Sorry about that.
Thanks to breaking. And then, yes, there's no harm in you flying over to the other side. Actually, I guess there's not really much hope of Tamara doing much to anything else, so might as well. Oh, nice, Sandstorm. Wow, that's a big damage increase with Sandstorm. I don't know if I've actually mentioned this before, but Sandstorm is coded to not trigger if the game determines that your that 150% of your defense is less than your strength. So normally that's meant to stop Sandstorm doing less damage, but because arts work out their damage off of, like, the average of your strength and magic, and also because the what's Byleth's Gauntlet, Legendary Gauntlet called again? The Vajra Mushti, there it is. Because they use the lower of the enemy's defense and resistance, the Vajra Mushti can potentially result in you doing less damage with Sandstorm than you would normally. But it's a very rare occurrence. Louis plus Ivy, though if I engage, I could use the Wind Sword and actually still do 27 damage. Though the same accuracy as the Spear, so might as well use the Spear. I don't even know if Louis plus Ivy will do this. Okay, we've got a good solid hit there. And because Ivy has to use Thunder. No, that actually will take it out. And with Seadoll dancing, I'll be able to get rid of the other Wyvern with any one of the miscellaneous archers that I have. Question here is Amber strong enough to actually one-round you? He is, but he probably needs to hit. Okay. Okay, so before I do that, yeah, if you go there, you get Lyn back. And deal with one of these. I love that I'm doing exactly 100 damage here in total.
I'm still alive? Huh.
You're still alive thanks to those terrain bonuses, and he's getting quite close to needing a second seal. I will say we are approaching a point in the story where we do get, that's probably fine, where we do get more gold. So I'm not too concerned about being able to afford second seals at this point. And I don't really need to buy any more weapons, I kind of have all the weapons I need.
You won't suffer long.
Okay.
I need to be more diligent.
Unfortunately, that was not like an amber crit or anything. Yeah, see, this is the reason why I didn't make Jean a Sage earlier, because his speed growth suffers a little bit. I do have Spell Harmony now. Of course, first, though, I have to do this. Please hit, because that would be really cool. There we go! That was everything in that vicinity gone. Yeah, wow, how's that for the power of teamwork? Everything there taken down. Didn't even need Seadoll. Speaking of Seadoll, though, let's advance in a little bit. I think... Okay, wait, no, that's not every reinforcement dealt with, because I keep forgetting about that one with this one. Also, this mage doesn't even move. So we have Roy there. I often like to Astra Storm that Meteor Mage. And then... Okay, Clan hasn't even engaged yet. But we're still not out of the woods yet, because we've got Roy to deal with. And yes, Alcris does have Lyn back.
Emblem, engage!
The question is whether I Astra Storm provoke Roy or whether I Astra Storm the Meteor Mage, who will not actually die unless I Luna a lot. In that case, I think I'm gonna Astra Storm Roy.
Lord Roy? Is there not someone more, adequate you should be fighting?
Why are you talking nonsense, Alchrist? You are the Prince of Brodia, the land I was entrusted to. Who better could I face? Come, let our battle begin.
Now I have you!
And by battle, I mean, Alcris firing arrows from really, really far away. Now he's become silver. The problem with Roy, though, is... Yeah, if you don't reduce him to 1 HP, you will need an additional person to take out that health bar. It's just... It is such a huge pain. I may have said... Oh, no, I think I definitely said in the comments of the one we fought Marnie at the port, that may be the last time we deal with, Marnie with Roy. But, this isn't the last time we'll be dealing with Holdout. This is the last time we'll be dealing with Holdout, and, it's very much a thing. So, in fact, yeah, engage attacks are very important at this point, because they will pierce Holdout. I don't know if Roy will get close enough before my Erica runs out. Okay, what's he doing? No, he's not moving. Okay, that's unfortunate. Because I'm nowhere close to getting Lucina back right now. But I suppose Clan can donk this guy and run with Canter. I think he'll still be in range of Meteor, even with Canter. And now Clan has learned even greater face touching. Also have to remember that Roy can Blazing Lion too.
Thanks a ton!
Full health Amber. Does he rush in with Seedol and go Ike Engage? He'll still be taking quite a lot from the magic, so maybe I should hold off on that right now. Oh, this is really tempting though. As in, like, just sniping one of you. So you do like 15. I think he's probably fine to get hit by 2 mages then. I just want to thin their numbers before Roy comes in, because I'm going to need to pull out all the stops as in with Roy, and I'd rather there be less in the area when that happens. So, what are you doing? Okay, that's Meteor. And also Spell Harming. Amber gets pelted in the face by rocks from space and is fine. Hi, Roy! Okay. Oh yeah, that's the reinforcement wave that spawns when you aggro, but it's so far away, hopefully I won't even need to deal with it. And have we just gone back on the... Yeah, we totally have. The boss theme has left the building. But I can get rid of you and make you stop meteoring me. Yes, there was a sniper and this sage who carried gold. I don't know if they're really a reference to anyone. In fact, since that's a female sage with meteor, that was probably meant to be Lilina. I think I actually can get Twin Strike. That was a lucky coincidence. But first, I want to see if I can take out a health bar on Roy before I do anything else.
Emblem?
So let's engage with Clan. And music gone. Back to the boss theme. It's just annoying because as long as I don't reduce you to 1 HP, I need to take like an additional character to finish you, and it's such a pain. Because yeah, that puts you down to 1.
Alright.
And there's holdout plus plus plus. Yeah, let's just go for all the evasion I can get. So I probably shouldn't send in Lapis.
My hero.
So okay, we got a chain attack there. Somebody needs to kill that mage, otherwise Louis will die. Oh wait, no, it's Thoron, so you can only hit Louis once. Still, Louis will get attacked by Roy as well. Because yeah, I really want to use the Twin Strike here. Because that takes out his health bar.
Now it's my turn.
Although, with an Ivy Micaiah warp, I probably can actually beat Roy. I was thinking more like for an Ivy Micaiah warp to take out that other mage, but no, I think that might even be able to outright just win. So he's broken now. Ivy rewarp is even better. Okay, Tamara can't really get anywhere, so if I dance for her, that means Seedol is of no use staying in this rewarp because he's expended his turn. So the rewarp here, this group, and they'll all go wee all the way into here, including Ivy herself. Haven't really used Great Sacrifice much, but I also haven't really needed it. So, right. Tamara has access to quadruple hit, which will do quite a lot, actually. So, step 1, Lapis, hit Roy a little bit.
I'll go first. Not done yet.
Got quite a lot of chain attacks on him, too. And I think that's actually game if you were to use quadruple hit. But just for lols, I'll have Anna carve through
Here we go.
this guy.
No window jumper! All in a day's work.
Just all of Anna's battle dialogue is incredible. And for good measure, we'll put Alear. Actually, Alear has boss dialogue, though, and he also has Canter. So, I mean, I might as well just show the boss dialogue. Let's see. Binding Blade's gonna hurt a bit, but there's no way it's gonna actually kill Alear. So let's try this.
You seem much more focused, more intense than usual.
My sword, the Binding Blade, was kept in this land for centuries.
And with it, my promotion.
My memory of retrieving it must be granting me additional power.
Yeah, it's canon that Roy is actually remembering his promotion right now.
If a memory can grant power, then I'll give you a fight we'll both remember.
I'll give you a fight that will make you wish you were stuck at level 20 for like 20 chapters. Just like, I actually don't really mind Roy from a gameplay standpoint now. Because he's not meant to be a super game-breakingly overpowered unit. He's meant to be more of like a football that you escort to the goal. But yeah, I believe I have to quadruple hit here, otherwise he's just going to endure it. So yeah, for fighting Roy, highly recommend having gauge attacks, especially Erica's. Because they pierce holdout. And that makes this fight a lot easier. Yeah, well, you getting strength definitely deserves a party. And there we go, let me guess. No, it was Anna! Well, I guess she shot a lot of flyers, so hey, you deserve that. I was gonna say, let me guess, it's Amber again.
Thank you for entertaining my wish to fight. You're impressive.
You would have won if I'd slipped up even once. I never want to have you as an enemy again.
Oh, believe me, if this was Binding Blade Roy, if you could wish for anybody as your enemy, it would probably be Binding Blade Roy, just because he sucks.
Please, you're embarrassing me.
What's wrong, Roy? You're staring.
Oh, it's just that you remind me of somebody I once knew. Her name was Idun. She was a demon dragon, and King Zephiel of Bern wished to use her to destroy humanity.
Yeah, the translation of the term Demon Dragon is interesting because it's the same characters and like kanji as Mage Dragon from both this game and Marth's games, the kind Zephyr is. But that kanji can mean either magic or demon, and I suppose in the context of Idun, demon is more appropriate.
A demon dragon?
Like you, each of her eyes was of a different color. And she carried herself a bit like you too.
I mean, there are similarities.
I never knew there was such a person. Did you battle this demon dragon?
If anything, though, she was way more similar to Vale.
Well, I had a choice. Kill her and wipe out the dragons. Or save her, the enemy of mankind. Can you guess which I chose?
And that was the exact same choice that Roy's legendary predecessor was faced with.
Which was it?
I'll tell you the whole tale once this war is over, and your world is at peace.
So they actually are being vague about what ending Roy got in his game.
Aww. Okay then. But you have to promise me you'll tell. I'm looking forward to the story.
Aaliyah's tone is kind of weird for the fact that it's like, oh, I was looking forward to finding out whether you committed genocide or not.
I promise. Until that day comes, I think we'll enjoy our time together.
Yeah, Idun was like one of the last ones outside of like the Dragon's Gate if you don't count Ninian, who's implied to be dead by the time of Binding Blade. But Roy's final Bond level. At Bond levels above 11, we finally have the annoyance that was Marnie on our side. Firstly, his boosts cap out at plus 10 HP, plus 6 strength, and plus 3 resistance. The strength boost is so big it can turn even mediocre attackers into decent ones. Or of course, make already good attackers even better. Speaking of even better, Holdout Plus Plus has a threshold of 10% HP, but at Bond 18, Holdout Plus Plus Plus, yes, it really goes that high, means that as long as you have more than 1 HP when an enemy initiates combat, you're guaranteed to live. This bears repeating. At Bond level 18, Roy's user cannot be killed by a single enemy, excluding engage attacks. Position them well and give them healing items, and you have an immortal warrior. And this is only a sync skill. You don't even need to be engaged with Roy to have this. Oh, and they also have a fairly decent 1-2 range sword that gives +5 defense and resistance. The Binding Blade is simple, but it's one of my favorite Bond 15 engage weapons, especially since it gives backup attackers a 1-2 range chain attack option. At higher Bond levels, Roy's inheritance continues the theme it always had. Extremely good, but stupidly expensive. If you wanted to inherit every skill from an emblem, Roy's would cost you the most SP, and it's not even close. But those lucky enough to be SP billionaires get the luxuries of +6 strength, +10 damage with swords, and literally refusing to die. And so, Binding Blade. Now, if Genealogy went through a redemption arc for me, Binding Blade went through an even bigger one. Binding Blade was the first Japan-only Fire Emblem game that I played, because I discovered it during, like, looking up walkthroughs for Path of Radiance, finding out there were actually, you know, 6 other Fire Emblem games that we hadn't got in English.
That's right.
And finding out that one of them was the chronological sequel to the first Fire Emblem that we got. The Blazing Blade, or simply Fire Emblem in the West. Because that game ended on a cliffhanger ending that talked about Zephiel reviving a demon dragon, and everyone was like, oh, when's Fire Emblem 2 coming out? It's gonna be so good! And then we learned that it already existed. And it was like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and play that. And people found out about fan translations, how to do that, and play it. And then a lot of people, including me, who played Binding Blade for the first time, were very disappointed. Because Binding Blade is a very different game.
Or at least I will be.
Wow, that was a long voice clip. A very different game
Divine one.
to Blazing Blade. It was a lot less newcomer friendly.
Yes.
It's very, very difficult overall. Like, that game is the antithesis of Blazing Blade's very weak enemies.
Yes.
Enemies in Binding Blade are really tough. And also, they kind of require you to have a lot of kind of knowledge of how the different classes work, and how, like, you know, using effective weapons and the like, and
Well,
there was a lot of variety in enemies too in Binding Blade. For example, you fight axe bandits even outside of the early game, which was kind of cool because it actually gave sword users more of a purpose. I'm starting to allude to something here, but I'll go back to it. At the same time, Binding Blade was a very different game from Blazing Blade story-wise, because it's a very story-light game, kind of like Engage in a way. It's very much a standard main character fights against an invading empire who is trying to revive an evil dragon god.
indeed.
And as Roy mentioned, though, there are twists on exactly how that evil dragon god is portrayed, but you don't really get into those until the very end. That's one of my main issues that I have with Binding Blade's story. The most interesting parts of it don't come until, like, the last 2 chapters, literally. And then the final chapter is actually really pathetic gameplay-wise. It's probably, like, the most pathetic final chapter in the whole series, apart from maybe Sacred Stones. I mean, at least Sacred Stones has had 2 halves to it, whereas, Binding Blades is just walk up to the final boss, use Roy, and win. An untrained Roy can beat Binding Blade's final boss, I believe, which is really sad. And I kind of expected to, because, like what was just said by Roy's conversation there, if you beat the final boss with Roy, then Roy shows mercy on her and you get a different ending. So that's actually, that's really cool.
Well then.
So there are elements of Fire Emblem, like Binding Blade's story that I quite like. I really like Zephiel. I think Zephiel is a very good villain. Is he my favorite of, like, the evil Emperor characters in the series? He might be. Because thinking about, I mean, Hardin is kind of nice, but he's tragic in a different way. Zephiel has kind of the right combination of being tragic, but also being someone who needs to be stopped at all costs. And I do like how, I feel like Roy's character is very underutilized in Binding Blade, but the way they contrast him with Zephiel is quite nice. Like, the fact that Roy genuinely wants to find a future where humans and dragons can live together, and there's a really nice added bit of depth to that if you played Blazing Blade and realize that Roy's canon mother is most likely to be a dragon, therefore Roy himself is living proof that humans and dragons can live together. Meanwhile, Zephiel has just become completely, you know, misanthropic because of his past, and you can't really blame him given what he went through, which you also see a little bit of in Blazing Blade as well, because that's a prequel, and Zephiel is in that game in a fairly minor role. It also does feel really tragic as well, that the fact that you actually get to see Zephiel in Blazing Blade as like a well, not naive, but like as like an innocent teenager, and then you find out like the man that he grew up into. I also like that the time skip between Binding Blade and Blazing Blade is 20 years, which gives quite a lot of time for the characters to age, like, decently. The thing is that I used to really hate Binding Blade. It used to be my least favorite game in the whole series. I used to think the story was crap, the characters were boring, the supports were bad, like, most of the supports were just kind of lampshading gameplay mechanics instead of being actually deep character discussion. And the cast was full of terrible pre-promotes who were so bad, and because this was the time when everyone used to think that pre-promotes were bad, and that, like, growths were the best thing ever, and that having high base stats and low growth was a bad thing, and that Zealot was useless because he's a second Marcus who joined, and Marcus was already bad as it is. I remember finding an old Game FAQs guide that basically said of Zealots, I wouldn't use him even if my life depended on it. But actually, he does make Binding Blade a lot easier. And that's the thing, like, a lot of us at the time, we were playing Binding Blade wrong. It's a game where you do need to use pre-promotes, it's a game where you do need to promote it up before level 20. And when you do know how to play Binding Blade well, you realize that it's actually quite a well-designed Fire Emblem game. In my view, gameplay-wise, it's third only behind Engage and Conquest in terms of gameplay. The thing that I think is so great about Binding Blade is that variety of enemies makes it so that Sword, like, it fixes a lot of the problems that some of the later Game Boy Advance games had. Because there's a lot of tough Wyvern enemies to fight, and because, enemies are powerful enough that long-range chip damage is really, really useful, just like it is in Engage, archers are actually quite good in Binding Blade. Similarly, sword-locked units are actually quite good because the janky accuracy of most weapons means that the high accuracy of swords is a legitimate niche, and also you find axe users well into the mid-game rather than just in the early game. And aside from ambush spawning reinforcements, the map design in Binding Blade is also excellent.
Get ready.
In the end, I feel Binding Blade is a game that you tend to like more as you get more experience with the series. It's not a very good first game to play, and if you liked the characters of Blazing Blade or the world of Blazing Blade, which I did and many others did, it's not really the best because it's very, very light on world building, and, I mean, it does have some world building, but it's mostly locked to supports, kind of like Engage, actually. And it's very light on character development. So it is a game that I would appreciate seeing a remake of, because I honestly quite like it now, and my only issues are things that a remake could fix, like the music. Make it so that it's played with an actual orchestra, not fart trumpets. And also maybe give some voice acting, maybe have characters talk in the main story besides Roy and Merlinus and Guinevere. I feel like the next remake will be Binding Blade or Genealogy. If it's Path of Radiance, it would be pretty cool too. And if it does come, I'll be excited for it. But as it stands, I do actually enjoy Binding Blade a lot more than I used to. In fact, maybe if it doesn't get a remake, I might play it on the channel someday. So, with that, I will see you all next time as we actually do continue the main story. I'll see you all for that then.